안녕하세요, 여러분. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the makeup class, where we will learn all the parts that we haven't finished in our previous class. And I hope that today there's no issue with connections. I didn't get to test it out, but I think now that I have it without the camera, I think it'll be fine because I think the last two classes I had the camera on and probably that affected the connection. So this time I'm trying without it. Hopefully it's still good. Sarah님, 안녕하세요. I'm not sure if it's Sarah, but 안녕하세요. Thank you for being the first person to say hi. 그리고 이른님 안녕하세요. Delilah님 안녕하세요. I'm not sure how many people will be joining today's class, but if you're not able to make it, then you can always watch the playback. So I think it shouldn't matter that much. 네. 그리고 guys, please find the updated worksheet in the description box, and we'll start from number 3, verb adjective 게 해주다, this part, because this is where we left off, right? 그리고 I see other learners coming in, other students coming in. Sayan, Tani님, Travon님, Keith님. Thank you for joining again. It's good to see you again. 그리고 이른님, what do we learn today, 선생님? Today 잠깐만, how can I make it bigger? 슉. I guess this is the best I can. Oh, there you go. We are going to learn the parts about long causative verbs that we didn't get to finish in our last class because of the connection issues on my end. I apologize for that once again, guys. 그리고 yes, it's Sarah. Sarah 맞죠? I like your profile picture. Are you the one that drew these two little creatures? 귀여워요. 너무 귀여워요. 그리고 Delilah님, you were the first teacher to teach me Korean grammar. Oh, wow. And I'm finally going to be watching more of your videos again. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I hope that you find my videos helpful. Thank you so much. 그리고 alright, then shall we get started? 오늘 시작을 해볼게요. 네, 일단은 verb 게 해주다부터 해보겠습니다. If you break down verb 게 해주다, it's verb 게 하다 combined with 주다. 아이고. So let me close this text. So it's basically you're doing them a favor of making them verb or adjective. So it means it helps the causee, the causer helps the causee to do verb or become adjective. So it indicates that the causer directly gives a helpful effect to causee. And because of the helping nature, it can also be interchangeably used with 게, 도와주다. So I'll write it here. They're interchangeable. 그리고 핑님이다. 핑님 안녕하세요. It's so nice to see you again. Long time no see. Yes. 하주부지엔이네요. I just come to say hello. You're working now. Okay. 맞아요. Today in Korea, it's holiday. It's the National Foundation Day. 개천절이에요, 한국은. 그래서 we're not working. Today we're not working. We're on our holiday. But I know that in other countries, it's a working day. So I don't expect a lot of learners to join today's class, but that's okay. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. It means a lot, 핑님. Thank you so much. 그리고 잠깐만요. I'll answer some of your questions later after I'm done with what I brought today for today's class. Sorry about that, guys. So I'll continue to go on. So 게 도와주다, it's interchangeable. 게 해주다 and 게 도와주다 are interchangeable. But there is a very subtle difference in nuance between 해주다 and 도와주다, which I will get to soon. So let's compare these two sentences, guys. 이 책은, so 이 책, this book is the causer in the sentence. 이 책은 너무 재미있다. It's so fun. 너무 재미있어서. It's so fun. So 잠을 깨다 means to wake up from your sleep. So 잠을 깨게 해줘요. It would mean this book helps me to wake up, right? Because it's so fun. So it indicates the helpful effect that this book, the causer, has on me, right? 그리고 you can also say, and these two would actually be interchangeable without much difference in meaning. 이 책은 causer 재미있어서 this book is fun, so 잠을 깨게 도와줘요. Literally, it helps me to wake up from sleep because it's fun. So I guess in this case, in this kind of context, 게 해줘요 and 게 도와줘요 would be interchangeably used without any difference in meaning. But in some cases, if you say, let's compare these two now, the one that has 게 해줄게 in it and another one that has 게 도와줄게 in it. So 네가 행복하게 해줄게. So the hidden subject here would be 나는, right? I, because the sentence ends in 을게, which can only be used if the subject is I, right? The first person. So the hidden subject is 나는, I. So I will 게 해주다, help you or make you 행복하다, be happy. So 네가 행복하게 해줄게 means I will help you be happy, as in I will make you be happy. And the next one, 네가, and this one as well, 나는 is the hidden subject. 나는 네가 행복하게 도와줄게. This would only have one translation, which would be I will help you become happy. So on the surface, they sound like completely the same meaning, right? However, it has slightly different meaning, guys. So when you say 해줄게, 을게, not 을게. When you say 해주다, 게 해주다, it almost sounds like the causer is the main cause. The causer is the main cause, is the direct cause, the only cause almost of making you happy. So this sentence sounds a lot more serious. I will make you happy. I will be the dominant cause of you becoming happy. However, if you say 네가 행복하게 도와줄게, it doesn't sound as serious as the first one, but it rather sounds that the causer can contribute some sort of assistance to making you happy, but I might not be the dominant cause of you becoming happy. So that's the subtle difference right there. Between 게 해주다 and 게 도와주다. So 게 도와주다 does sound like the causer is helping them. It does have helpful effect, but it also has a nuance of the causer not being, the dominant cause. So that's the difference. 그리고 so that's how you can use 게 해주다. 그리고 게 해주다 second meaning is giving permission. So it makes sense if you break it down. It's literally doing a favor of making somebody verb or adjective. So it could extend to the meaning of allowing someone to do something, to giving permission to someone to do something, right? So it can also be used when you're giving, when the causer is giving permission to causee. So for example, if you say, I finished work today, so my boss let me get off work early. So in this case, your boss gave you permission to get off work early, right? So here you can use 게 해주다 for the causative part. Let. So let's try translating this sentence together. I finished today's work. 오늘 일을 I finish it. 다 끝내다. 끝내다 means to finish, right? So you finish them all. 끝내서 오늘 일을 다 끝내서 my boss, let's call boss 사장님이 사장님이 is the causer and the causee is me. So you can say either 제가 or 저를. And get off work is 퇴근하다, right? 퇴근하다. So you can say 오늘 일을 다 끝내서 사장님이 제가 or 저를 the causee를 일찍 early 퇴근하게 해줬어요. 퇴근하게 해줬어요. You can say like this. 일찍 퇴근하게 해줬어요. The boss gave me permission to 이든님, the internet connection is kind of slow. Is it just me? 잠깐만요. Yes, I think I am getting the message, the warning message that the stream is unstable. I'm so sorry about that. Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me and see? Can you guys see the screen without much bugs, delaying, choppiness? 괜찮아요? 트래버님 잘 들려요? So 이든님, I think you might not be the only one because I do get the message that my internet could be unstable, but I think other people says it works well. So I'll just go with that for now. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so anxious right now. But let's see. Because I recently moved to a new place and I have the new internet installed and I'm actually paying quite a lot for it, but then it's not, doing its job. Okay, So I'm a little worried that I might be wasting my money on it. I'll have to check it again. I'll have to call them. But we're on holidays today, so I can't do that right now. But Eden님 says, it's my connection here. It could be or it could not. It might not be. I'm not sure. But I'll continue, guys. I'll continue. 네. It's been frustrating me a lot these days. But 네. 아무튼 that's how you translate this sentence. 오늘 일을 다 끝내서 사장님이 제가 or 저를 일찍 퇴근하게 해줬어요. Let me get off work early. 그리고 the next one, please make. Okay, so 게 해주다's third usage. So it's often used in this phrase, 게 해주세요, which is literally, please let me, or please let me the verb or be adjective. So it's often used when you're making a wish to God or a higher being. So for example, if you want to make a wish, if you want to pray to God, please make my dream come true. Please make my dream come true. You can use 게 해주세요 ending. 게 해주세요. 게 해주세요. So do you guys remember how to say for dream to come true? For dream to come true. Dream is 꿈. 그리고 for something coming true is 이루어지다. So 꿈이 이루어지게 해주세요. 꿈이 이루어지게 해주세요. So 이루어지다 is a passive form, and if you want to make it a active form, then you can also say 꿈을 이루게, which means to realize my wish, so to make my dream come true, for you to make your dream come true. So 꿈을 이루게 해주세요 would also work. 그리고, so can you guys try translating this one? Please make me do well on the test by using 게 해주세요. Just so I could induce participation from you guys. So do well on the test. To do well on the test, you can use 시험을 잘 보다. 시험을 잘 보다. So using 시험을 잘 보다 and 게 해주세요 how would you say, please make me do well on the test? If you were actually, praying to God. Please make me do well on the test. 어떻게 하면 좋을까요? 시험을 잘 보게 해주세요. 그렇죠. 맞아요. 마빈님. 아이고. 잠깐만요. Oops. My hand slipped just now. 시험을 잘 보게 해주세요. 그렇죠. Please make me do well on the test. It's a perfect sentence. 시험을 잘 보게 해주세요. 좋습니다. 다음에 we'll move on to the next one. The fourth variation of 게 하다, which is 게 시키다. 게 시키다. So to understand what 게 시키다 means, we would have to first know what 시키다 verb is, right? 시키다 verb is. And 시키다가요, it has two meanings. So its primary meaning is to order someone, to command someone to do something, to tell someone to do something. So it's that. So order. Oops, the writing is too big. To order, to make order, command. And it could also mean to order, as in to order food at a restaurant, or to order what you want to buy online, that kind of order. You can use 시키다, in which case it would be interchangeable with 주문하다. So when you say verb 게 시키다, this 시키다 would mean to order, to command. So it would mean to command, as in to tell somebody to do verb. And it can only be used with verb because you cannot command someone to become adjective. That sounds a little weird, right? You cannot command someone to be healthy. You can command someone to live a healthy life, but you cannot command someone to be healthy. So it can only be used with verb. And so because of the nature of 시키다, telling somebody to do something, the causer is often someone that's older than the causee, or someone in a higher position than the causee. And the causee is usually someone that's younger or in a lower position. 그리고, so to tell somebody to do something. 잠깐만요. 이른님 says, so it's not 시험을 잘 하게 해주세요. For the sentence earlier, 시험을 잘 하다 is an incorrect usage. We say 시험을 잘 보다. When we take a test, we always say 시험을 보다 and not 시험을 하다. That's why 보게 verb, 보다 verb goes with 시험. Always. 시험 always follows the verb 보다, not 하다. 그리고 그래서 그렇죠. 송이송님 안녕하세요. 송이송님이 이렇게 썼어요. 어제 저희 엄마는 저를 설거지 I think there's a typo. It's 설거지, not 설거기. 설거지하게 시켰어요. So this is a perfect example sentence. My mom told me to wash the dishes. 설거지하다. So that's what it means. And this is not to be, you should not be confusing this with noun 시키다, guys. Do you guys remember noun 시키다 from the lesson, the previous lesson? Noun 시키다 was a causative form of 하다 ending verbs, right? All 하다 ending verbs can pretty much change into noun 시키다 as a causative form, right? But these two are not the same thing. Sometimes they can be interchangeably used, of course. If we look at 공부시키다 and 공부하다, 공부시키다 means to make somebody study, right? To make somebody study. And 공부하게 시키다 would mean to tell somebody to study, right? And so when you make somebody study, usually we tell that person to study, right? So in that case, they are interchangeable. They don't make major difference in meaning. However, when it comes to verb like 걱정시키다 and 걱정하게 하다, they mean completely different things. So as you can tell by its form, 걱정시키다 is 걱정하다's causative form. And 걱정하다 means to worry. It's a verb, guys. It's a feeling verb. It's not an adjective. 그래서 걱정시키다 would mean to make somebody worry. Somebody worry or be worried. Not necessarily intentionally, right? But your action influences them to be worried, right? So that's what it means. And when you say 걱정하게 시키다, it's like you are almost forcing emotion on someone. You're telling somebody to be worried, which is such a weird thing to do, right? So 걱정하게 시키다 is a kind of verb that isn't used very much because normally nobody would command somebody to be worried, right? So in this case, it would be different. So that's why I said verb 게 시키다 and noun 시키다 are two different things. 좋아요. 그리고 송이송님이 시켜 먹다 어때요? 치킨 시켜 먹다. 맞아요. 시키다. 시키다 in 시켜 먹다 means to order, right? So 시켜 먹다 means you order and eat. So it means delivery food. You have delivery food. 시켜 먹다. 치킨 시켜 먹다. So you have fried chicken. The delivery food, fried chicken, which is what a lot of Korean people do. Keith님 says, like if a menacing person says, you should be worried now. 그렇죠. 네, 맞아요. It sounds very threatening almost. Like you said, Keith님. If you say 걱정하게 시키다. If you 걱정하게 시키다 to someone, that sounds very menacing, very threatening. So you wouldn't really use it normally. 그리고 now that we're done with variations, 게 하다's variations, we learned 4 variations, right? In this class, we only learned 2, but combined with the ones that we learned in the previous class, the total of them are 4 variations. And so moving on to the next one. 잠깐만요. I think I have a lot of questions in the live chat. Ethan님 says, 어제 가족들이랑 식당 왔는데 제가 음식을 다 못 먹어서 저희 엄마가 제가 남은 음식을 포장하게 시켰어요. 네, 괜찮아요. 엄마가 if your mom told you, like if your mom had you, ordered you to wrap the unfinished food, the leftover food, then you can say that. 네, 괜찮습니다. 괜찮습니다. 그 다음에 what if they say you should be sorry? You should feel sorry. You should feel sorry. 그럴 때는요, 키스님, 그냥 미안한 감정, or 미안한 감정, feeling of sorriness, 미안한 감정을 느껴야 돼. 그럴 때는 그냥 you can use 어여하다, to have to, you should. This verb 쓰면 돼요. 너는 미안한 감정 좀 느껴야 돼. If a person is very unempathetic, even after they did something wrong, you can say, 너는 미안한 감정 좀 느껴야 돼. You should feel sorry. 그럴 때는 괜찮아요. 근데 그럴 때는 you can say 미안한 감정을 느껴야 돼 라고 말하면 됩니다. 그 다음에 일단은 넘어갈게요. 그 다음 걸로. So the difference between short causative form and long causative form. So actually, guys, to share with you guys the backstory, I was actually very hesitant on whether I should include this in the lesson. And I eventually went for it because at first I thought it would cause unnecessary confusion to you guys, and it's not something that's super, super important. It's not something that will get in the way of you understanding causative grammar if you don't know this part. But still, I wanted to include this because it might be helpful for you guys to kind of feel that not every part of language is not every part of language fits into the boundary of grammar rules, but many times it could be context oriented. So, 네, so that's why I thought it would be interesting. You guys might feel it interesting to learn this part, but it's not like super important, guys. So if you don't get it, then you can just skip it. But I'm sure this would be, a body of helpful knowledge. So let's look at the question first. Since 게 하다 can be attached to pretty much any verb to make it into a causative verb, can it then be attached to a verb that can be made into short causative verb as well? So what the question here is talking about is verbs like 먹다 or 입다. These are the verbs that have causative, short causative forms, right? By attaching one of the causative suffixes. So 먹다 becomes 먹이다, which would mean to make somebody eat or to feed. And 입다 would become 입히다, which would mean to make somebody wear or to dress somebody. But since 게 하다 can be attached to any verb to make it into a causative verb, then you can also say 먹게 하다, right? And 입게 하다. So yes, this is possible. Both 먹이다, 먹게 하다, 입히다, 입게 하다 are legitimate forms of legitimate causative forms of 먹다 and 입다. Then, what are their differences? What are their differences then? What is the difference between the short form and the long form? So this is what the questions are about. And to answer that question, guys, the main difference, guys, the primary difference would be whether it's a direct action or not. So usually, not always, guys, but usually, short causative verbs refer to a direct action, and long causative are indirect action. So here's what I mean by direct action and indirect action, guys. So 입히다 means to make someone dress, right? Make someone dress. However, usually it refers to dressing someone. So you are, the causer, physically puts the clothes on other person's body. You directly does the action of dressing somebody. Whereas 입게 하다 doesn't mean dressing somebody. Doesn't mean you're physically putting clothes on them. It only means you make them dress. I mean, you make them wear. Or you make them wear 입다, as in you tell somebody to wear, or you simply buy clothes for them to wear. So that's what I mean by direct action and indirect action, guys. So this is a direct action of you actually dressing someone, and this is just making dress. Making someone wear. 그리고 and same goes with 먹이다 and 먹게 하다. So which one of these two do you think means feed? To feed. Feeding is actually putting food into someone's mouth, right? It's different from just making them eat. You're actually directly, physically putting food into someone's mouth. So which one, guys? Which one of 먹이다 and 먹게 하다 would mean to feed? 어떤 게 feed란 뜻일까요? Something that 스키즈님 먹히다가 아니라 먹이다. I'm sure it's a typo, but just to clarify, 먹히다 is the passive form, and 먹이다 is the causative form. So I'm sure you meant to type 먹이다 though. I know that it's a typo. So yes, 먹이다 means to feed. And 먹게 하다 does not mean to feed. It only means to make somebody eat, as in you tell them to eat it or you buy food for them so that they can eat it. 그래서 먹이다가 feed란 뜻이에요. However, there are also causative verbs like 울리다 and 웃기다. So 울리다 comes from 울다, right? So 울리다 means to make somebody cry, and 웃기다 comes from 웃다, which means to make somebody laugh, right? And when you're making somebody cry, nobody actually squeezes tears out of their eyes, right? Nobody can do a direct action of squeezing tears out of their eyes, right? So in that case, for those kinds of verbs, 울리다, whether you say 울리다 or 울게 하다, mean the same thing. You can only make somebody cry, right? You can only do an action that causes them to cry or to laugh, but you can never squeeze out tears or laughter from other people. So that's why 울게 하다 and 울리다 or 웃기다 or 웃게 하다 mean the same thing and they're interchangeably used. 그리고, this is an interesting point, guys. This is an interesting point. So it can also depend on the situation or the speaker's intention. So what I mean by that is, let's look at the two examples. So one is 죽이다 and 죽게 하다, and another is 태우다 and 타게 하다. 일단 보시면 죽이다 comes from 죽다, right? Which means to die. So 죽이다 means to make someone die, so it means to kill, right? You're actually physically inflicting damage on the deathly damage on other people so that they die. That's what 죽이다 means, right? To kill. You're actually doing the action of killing, whereas 죽게 하다 doesn't mean you're directly inflicting damage, but it's like you become the cause, right? You make them die, as in maybe you put them in a dangerous situation or something like that, but you didn't actually like directly kill them. So that's the difference between these two. Make somebody die. But someone can say 내가 아이를 죽였어. 내가 아이를 죽였어, which means I killed the child, even if you didn't actually kill the child. Even if you didn't actually kill the child, you can say this if you feel guilty that her death attributes in some way to my actions, right? So maybe I put her in a dangerous situation. Maybe I said something that made the child consider death. So in that case, you can use 죽였어, but it wouldn't always mean I killed a child. So it all depends on the context. This is something that you have to read between the lines, right? You have to understand the context, where she's coming from, where the speaker is coming from. And 내가 아이를 죽게 했어 would mean I made the child die, as in I have caused to a certain degree to make her die. 그런 뜻이 있어요. 그리고 for another example, 태우다 and 타게 하다. 여기서도 태우다 comes from 타다, which means to ride or to get on a bus or a train or get in the car. 타다 means that. 그리고 태우다 means 태우다 is 타다's causative form. So it means to make somebody ride. And it could mean you physically put someone in the car too, right? And 타게 하다 means to make somebody ride. 근데 you can say something like this. Let's try making example sentence with 타게 하다 first. 타게 하다, to make someone ride. So 대중교통 means public transportation. 대중 means public, 교통 means traffic. So public transportation을 이용하다, to use, 을 때, when you're using public transportation, 그럴 때 장애인들이, so 장애 means disability, handicapped, handicap. And I think you guys can guess what 장애인 means, right? In is a person, so 장애인 means handicapped person. But I forgot to mention, guys, 장애인 are often replaced with 장애우 these days. 장애우. So 우 comes from 한자, which means friend. So if we say 장애우, the handicapped friend, it sounds more welcoming of disabled people than saying 장애인. So these days,
we are more inclined to say 장애우 to refer to handicapped people, but I forgot to replace it to 장애우 in this sentence. So 장애인들, handicapped people이 먼저 first 타개하다, make them get on, right? 야해요. So basically, we have to make handicapped people get on the public transportation first, get on the car or the bus or the train first when we're using public transportation. 근데 when we're talking about handicapped people on a wheelchair, we usually have to actually physically carry the wheelchair into the vehicle or into the train or into the bus, into public transportation, right? So we actually have to physically do the action. So it would make sense to use 태우다 for that reason, right? 태우다 for that reason, 태우다. However, a lot of people choose to use 타개하다, even if they're actually physically helping them in the car, just to show respect to the disabled people, just to respect their choice to get in the car, to get in the transportation, just so we could minimize, humble our effort, and put more spotlight on the handicapped people. I hope that makes sense. So what it's all about is the context and the intention of the speaker. And there could be various contexts, various intentions of a speaker. So I thought it would be worth mentioning it just in case you get confused when you come across these types of sentences. 그리고요. Okay, so the hard parts are over, guys. The hard parts are over. And we're moving on to combining adjective with 개하다. So now we're done with verb 개하다, and we're moving on to adjective 개하다, which is a lot simpler, a lot easier to understand, guys, because there's no complex grammar points here. Now, adjective 개하다 would mean to make somebody be adjective, right? And it's often interchangeably used with 개 만들다, verb 개 만들다. Adjective 개 만들다, without changing meaning. 그래서 the basic form would be the causer would be the subject for sure. 거지, you can mark 거지 with 을을 or 이가. You cannot say 한테 though. 한테 안 돼요. When you're using 개하다 or sorry. Why is my tongue getting twisted? Sorry, let me do it again. When you're using adjective 개하다 or adjective 개 만들다, you cannot mark the 거지 with 한테. 한테 안 돼요. 한테 안 됩니다. 그래서 this would mean the causer made 거지 become adjective. 그러면 let's try translating some of the sentences with this, following this format. So, music makes me happy. Music is the causer, 음악. Me, I is the 거지, 저. 그리고 you can use 행복하다 for it to be happy. So, following this format, guys, causer, 이가 or 은는 거지, 을을, 이가 adjective, 개하다, 만들다. So could you guys try making a sentence that goes, music, that means music makes me happy. Can have various versions, right? You could use 하다 or you could use 만들다. You could mark it with 을을 or you could mark it with 이가. So I look forward to a lot of variations among your sentences, guys. 네. I'm waiting for your answers, guys. How would you say, music makes me happy? Music makes me happy. Maybe we could do the first one together, if you're not sure. 행복하게 만드는 음악. Okay. This is perfectly correct phrase. This is not a sentence though, right? What I was requiring you guys to do was a sentence that has subject and an object and a verb. But 행복하게 만드는 음악 itself would mean the music that makes me happy. The music that makes me happy. So that itself is not a sentence. But what I was looking for was 그렇죠. 음악이 저를 행복하게 해요. 좋아요. 음악이 저를 행복하게 해요. 그렇죠. Or you could also say 음악이 제가 you can also mark the causative with 이가 제가 행복하게 만들어요. 만들어요. 좋아요. 그리고 in written form you can say 그쵸. 음악은 나를 행복하게 한다. 이것도 괜찮습니다. 22님, thank you for the answer. 그리고 음악이 저를 행복하게 해요 is also correct. 그 다음에 let's move on to the next one. Loud noises can make possibility. Can implies possibility, right? So you can use 수 있다. So I would like you to combine 수 있다 for make anxious. 그래서 loud noises can make a baby feel anxious. So for loud noises, there are different words you can use. You can simply say 큰 소리, which would mean loud sound. But if you want to give out a more negative connotation, use a word that has more negative connotation, then you can say 큰 소음. 소음 means noise. It only means noise. It doesn't mean sound. It only refers to bad sound, unpleasant sound. So I recommend using 소음 for noise. 그래서 loud noises can make a baby feel anxious. 시끄러운 소리가 저를 불안하게 해요. 그쵸? If you want the causey to become me, if you mean to say loud noises make me anxious, then your sentence is also correct. 시끄러운 소리가 저를 불안하게 만들어요. 그리고 you don't have to put Ethan in your sentence. Maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit, but you don't have to put 들, the plural particle after 소리. Because 소리 is non-countable anyway, so you can just say 시끄러운 소리가. 시끄러운 소리가. 그리고 시끄러운 소리가 아이들을 불편하게 해요. 불편하다, uncomfortable. Okay, 큰 소리가 아이들을 불편하게 해요. 좋아요. 그리고 you can also say anxious is more 불안하다. 불편하다는 좀 uncomfortable, inconvenient 한 거고 불안하다 하면 you feel uneasy, anxious란 뜻이에요. 그래서 큰 소음은 아기를 불안하게 해요. Or you could also say 불안하게 만들어요. 불안하게 만들어요도 괜찮아요. 그 다음에 okay, so let's move on to the next one. Using 편하다 adjective this time. 편하다 means to be comfortable. And 불편하다, this 불 comes from the Chinese character 부, and it means not. So 불편하다 means uncomfortable. But we're using 편하다 in this sentence. So this chair makes it comfortable to study. Makes it comfortable to study. How would you say it? Make comfortable. So let me give you what you can write for something's adjective to verb. You can simply say verb key adjective. So for example, if you want to say Korean is easy to learn, so basically something is adjective to verb, you can say verb key adjective. You can conjugate the adjective at the end. So Korean is easy to learn. You can say 한국어는 verb first. Key should be here. 배우기 easy. 쉬워요. 배우기 쉬워요. It's easy to learn. 그리고 this house is too small to live. You can say 이 집은 이 집은 verb first. 살기 too small. 너무 you can say 좁아요. 너무 좁아요. Some of you might say 작아요 and it's also okay. But when we are describing space, a small space, we usually say 좁다, which means narrow. We describe space as narrow, not small in Korean. So 이 집은 살기 너무 좁아요. 그래서 using verb key adjective, how would you say this chair makes it comfortable to study? 이 의자가 공부하기 편하게 만들어요. Okay, you can put 가 in between as well. 그것도 괜찮아요. 근데 without it, it's also fine. Actually, without it, it sounds more, it sounds more natural, I think. But that doesn't mean putting 가 wrong. So 이 의자가 공부하기가 편하게 만들어요. or 공부하기 편하게 만들어요. 그리고 이트님도 괜찮아요. 이트님 sentence is also fine. It's also okay. Actually, it's perfect. 이 의자는 공부하는 걸 편하게 만든다. If you want to finish the sentence in a written form, you can put 는다 form, right? So it would be 만든다. You cannot use the dictionary form, the base form in a sentence. So it would be 만든다. 좋습니다. 그래서 I think you guys got this part. Adjective 게 하다, combining adjective with 게 하다. And now let's move on to review quiz. Finally, the most fun part of this class. Of any class actually is solving quizzes, at least for me. I'm not sure how you guys feel about quizzes, but 네, 일단 해봅시다. Number 1. Select one sentence that sounds unnatural. So there is one unnatural, incorrect sentence. So what would that be, guys? What would that be? So let's start from number 1. Number 1. 일단은 딸에게 예쁜 치마를 입혀줬어요. I did the favor of dressing my daughter pretty skirt. 딸에게 예쁜 치마를 입혀줬어요. Yes, there is no grammatically incorrect element, so this one is correct. 그리고 Ethan님, you are fast. Yes, the correct answer is number 3. But let's go over it one by one. 독서 means reading books. It's a noun that refers to reading books altogether. Reading books, 독서는 언어 실력 means your language ability, your language skill을 늘리다 means to improve, right? And we learned that many times causative verb can be combined with 주다, right? So this is okay. 독서는 언어 실력을 늘려줘요. Reading books improves your linguistic ability. So this is correct. 그리고 농담 means joke, guys, joke. 그리고 분위기 means atmosphere. It could mean physical atmosphere, or it could be, societal atmosphere, interpersonal atmosphere as well. So 농담은 분위기 한테 밝게 해줘요. 일단은 there's nothing wrong with this part, right? 밝게 하다, or 밝게 만들다, or 밝게 해주다. They all mean the same thing. And 밝다 means bright. So joke makes 분위기 밝다. So meaning-wise, there seems to be no error. But what would be the wrong part in this sentence, guys? 일단은 Ethan님, could you try correcting this sentence since you know the answer? What would be the incorrect part? How would you correct the sentence to make it correct? 그렇죠. 그렇죠. 한태가 틀려요. 한태가 틀립니다. 왜냐면 first of all, the easiest explanation would be that 분위기 is not 사람. 분위기 is not a person. So you cannot say 분위기 한태. That's the first explanation. And the second reason why 한태 doesn't work is because 농담 cannot have the intention of making the atmosphere bright, right? 농담 is an inanimate object. So you cannot use 한테 to a causee if the causer didn't intend for it to happen. So that's why number 3 is the unnatural sentence. So number 3 is the answer. 그리고 if we just break down the last one, 제 수업을 통해, if you say 뭐뭐 noun을 통해, it means through something. So 제 수업을 통해, through my class, 여러분이, you guys, everyone, 한국어에 흥미를 느끼게 만들고 싶어요. So this person wants to make 여러분, the causee, everyone, like this. 한국어에 흥미를 느끼다. So 여기서 흥미, if you look up this word on the dictionary, it will say interest, but it's stronger than just interest. It's a lot stronger than interest. 관심 is interest, and 흥미 is a stronger interest. It's more like curiosity. It's like it could be close to enthusiasm as well. You feel that something is fun, so you're interested. So it's a little it's 관심 taken up a notch. you can think of it like this. So I want to make people strong interest feel strongly interested in Korean through my class. 그리고 이선희 흥미 느껴요. 너무너무 감사합니다. 감사합니다. I'm so glad for you that you feel that Korean is fun. You're strongly interested in Korean. 그리고 Mr. Teddy McBear, 안녕하세요. Welcome to class. 네, we're at a final review quiz. So we're at the we're at the end, almost at the end of the class. 그다음에 let's move on to the next one. This time it's selecting the natural one. So the rest of them are unnatural except for one choice. 네. So what would be the most natural one? Then let's go over it one by one. So number 1, 친구가 causer. Let's just write causer. 친구가 is causey. 친구가 저를 밖에서 1시간 동안이나 기다리게 해줘서 화가 났어요. So basically, I'm angry, and this is the reason why I'm upset, right? So, causer가 친구가 causey 저를 outside 1시간 동안 for an hour, and 이나 is a particle. 이나 can mean or, but it also has another meaning of emphasizing the amount or the duration of time, emphasizing like that much. So it's like saying, I waited for 1시간, that much. It has that nuance. So my friend, 저를 밖에서 1시간 동안이나 기다리다, wait for an hour, 게 해줘서 화가 났어요. 기다리게 해줘서 화가 났어요. 여러분, do you guys think this sentence is natural? Please pay attention to 게 해줘서, guys. 게 해줘서. Do you think 게 해줘서 is correctly used here? 게 해주다. Do you guys remember what verb 게 해주다, the implication that verb 게 해주다 has? It's always positive, right? It's always, it's either you allow someone, permit someone, or otherwise it's always positive. You give helpful effect, right, to someone. However, 친구, making you wait for an hour outside is not a helpful effect, right? So it sounds unnatural. 그래서 이상해요. 그냥 you don't have to say 게 해줘서. You can just say 게 해서. Make me wait for an hour. 아니면은 게 만들어서, which can add a little more of inevitability of the situation. So either you use 게 해서 화가 났어요, or 기다리게 만들어서 화가 났어요 would be correct, but not 게 해주다, right? 그래서 이건 아니에요. 그러면 how about the next one, guys? Next one. 숙제를 끝내서 I finished the class. So 엄마가 TV를 보게 해줬어요. 여기서 the hidden cause is me. My mom let me watch TV. 그러면 여러분 이거 어때요? 숙제를 끝내서 I finished my homework. So mom 게 해주다 let me watch TV. 어때요? 게 해주다. Do you think 게 해주다 is used correctly here? And if so, what would it mean? What would 게 해주다 mean in this sentence, guys? 그쵸? 괜찮아요. 맞아요. 이트님 괜찮아요. TV를 보게 해줬어요. My mom gave me permission to watch TV. 그래서 이거는 natural한 sentence가 맞습니다. So the answer to number 2 is number 2. 그리고 let's go over the rest. 화나게 시켜서 미안해. Guys, why would it be awkward? Why does this sentence sound awkward, guys? 화나게 시켜서 미안해. What would this mean literally? I'm sorry because 게 시키다. I told you to become angry. Like I commanded you to become angry, which is a very unlikely sentence to say in real life, right? So this is not natural. 화나게 시켜서 미안해. I'm sorry I ordered you to be angry. 그쵸? 이거는 시키다가 이상한 부분이죠. 그래서 the way you can make it natural is 화나게 해서 미안해. I'm sorry I made you angry. Or 화나게 만들어서 미안해. 만들어서 미안해도 괜찮습니다. 만들어서 미안해. 좋습니다. 그 다음에 네 번째 거 가볼까요? The fourth one. 내가 서울에 처음 와봐서 그런데 나 좀 구경해 줄 수 있어? 여기서는 what would be the unnatural part? 여기서는 이상한 부분이 어딜까요, 여러분? 일단은 내가 서울에 처음 와보다. It's my first time, 처음, coming to Seoul. 서 그런데. If you say 서 그런데 or adjective 서 그런데, you're providing. 서. Let me write it properly. 서 그런데. You're providing the background. I mean, you're providing the reason why you are saying the next thing as a background. 그래서 와봐서 그런데 요거는 자연스러워요, 이트님. You can just remember this expression. If you say verb 와서 그런데, it's providing reason for why you're saying the next thing as a background. 그래서 내가 서울에 처음 와봐서 그런데 hey, I say this because it's my first time coming to Seoul. 나 좀 구경해 줄 수 있어? 여러분 이거 어때요? 이 문장 어때요? What do you guys think? 나 좀 구경해 줄 수 있어? 이트님 says 오늘 배운 거 되게 많네요. 다행이에요. I almost feel like thanks to your active participation, 이트님, I kind of feel like we're having a one-on-one one-on-one tutoring. But thank you. Thank you for the active participation. Anyways, 나 좀 구경해 줄 수 있어. So what's weird about this sentence, guys? 나 좀 구경해 줄 수 있어? Do you guys remember what 구경하다 means? That we learned in the previous class? It means to look around. 근데 if you say, can you look me around? It sounds so awkward. Nobody looks around a person unless they're interested in them. But nobody really looks around the person, right? What this person is asking is, could you show me around Seoul, right? Could you show me around? So, not 구경해. You're not asking the other person to please look at me, please look me around. But you're actually asking, the correct way of asking it would be, 나 좀 구경시켜줘. Or 구경시켜 줄 수 있어. a politer way of asking a favor. 구경시켜 줄 수 있어. So now would be the causey. So the hidden particle would be something like 나를 or 나한테. 그래서 나를 좀 구경시켜 줄 수 있어. 이렇게 말할 수 있습니다. 그래서 이것도 unnatural. This is also unnatural. So number 2 is the natural one. And moving on to the next one. Filling in the blank, or more accurately, it's selecting the correct one in the blank. And please bear in mind that some questions can have two answers. Can have two answers, more than one answer. 그러면 보겠습니다, 여러분. 딸에게 조심하도록 했어요? or 조심하게 했어요? 조심하도록 했어요? or 조심하게 했어요? 조심하다는요. It's a verb that means to act or to act cautiously. 조심하다. To be cautious, to act cautiously. 그래서 그렇죠, 키스님. 조심하도록 그리고 조심하게 둘 다 됩니다. We learned this in the variation part. Let me scroll back up for a moment. 어디 갔어? Where's the variation part? 여기 있다. It can only be used with verbs. And when it's used with verb, it's pretty much interchangeable with 게 하다 when the causer intended for that causative action, right? 그래서 도록 하다 and 게 하다 are interchangeable in this context where it says I had my daughter be careful. I had my daughter be careful. It's absolutely the causer's intention to make your daughter be cautious, right? So, 게 하다, 도록 하다 둘 다 맞습니다. They're interchangeable in this context. 그리고 두 번째 보겠습니다. 조금 어려운 단어가 있는데 제가 팔 부상 때문에 부상하면요. injury라는 뜻이에요. injury. Your arm injury. 팔 부상 때문에 because of my arm injury, so because I injured my arms, 밥을 스스로 means on one's own. I cannot 밥을 먹을 수가 없다. I cannot eat on my own. So 엄마가 my mom fed me would be the most natural word, right? Fed. So what's the word that means to feed? 그렇죠. 먹여줬어요. 먹여줬어요. 좋아요. 먹여줬어요입니다. In this context, because my arms got injured, the only natural verb would be your mom feeding you, not making you eat, right? 그래서 먹여줬어요가 맞습니다. 먹여줬어요 sounds the most natural. 그 다음에 how about the third one? It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky, but which one would be the answer? Would it be both? Would it be one over the other? 어떤 걸까요? 걱정시켜서 미안해? 걱정하게 해서 미안해? As in, I'm sorry for keeping you worried. I'm sorry for making you worry. 여기서 키스님이 걱정하게라고 했는데요. 걱정하게 해서 미안해. 사실 걱정하게 해서 미안해도 맞고요. 걱정시켜서도 맞아요. Because it's not 걱정하게 시켜서, it's 걱정시켜서, which is 걱정하다's another form of causative verb. So there is no, definite difference between 시키다 and 게 하다. It all depends on which verb it is that you're using. But when it comes to 걱정하다, whether you say 걱정시키다 or 걱정하게 하다, doesn't make a difference. 네, 그렇기 때문에 둘 다 맞아요. That's why both are correct. This is something that I cannot really explain with the manual, with the rule, because it's something that doesn't follow the manual, right? Difference between 시키다 and 게 하다. So just remember, 걱정시키다, 걱정하게 하다, they mean the same thing. 그 다음에, how about this one, guys? 나를 행복하게 해줘서 고마워, or 만들어줘서 고마워, or both. Thank you for making me happy. That's what this person is trying to say, the sentence is trying to say. So which one would it be? 나를 행복하게 해줘서 or 만들어줘서. This is adjective combined with causative form, right?
그러면 어떤 게 맞을까요? Which one? 둘 다 괜찮지 않아요? 그렇죠. 둘 다 괜찮아요. 네. When combining with adjective, when making adjective into a causative form, whether you use 게 하다 or 게 만들다, they mean the same thing. 그래서 그렇죠. both가 맞습니다. 해줘서, 만들어줘서 고마워요. 고마워. 그 다음에 다음 거 가볼게요. 음악은 사람을 신나게 해요 or 신나도록 해요. We learned that 도록 하다, when it means 게 하다, it cannot be used with adjective. 도록 하다는 사실 adjective랑 쓰이지 않는데 신나다. 잠깐만. 신나다. 신나다가요. 신나다가 여러분 미안해요. 신나다가 verb예요. 신나다 is not an adjective. 신나다 is a verb. 네, 신나다 is classified as a verb. 그렇기 때문에 신나게 해요. or 신나도록 해요. 둘 다 맞아요. 신나게 해요. 신나도록 해요. At first I thought 신나다 is adjective, but then I think about it. And we have 신나는 음악. So 는 can only be attached after a verb as a modifier, right? 그렇기 때문에 신나는 is definitely a verb. So whether you say 신나게 해요 or 신나도록 해요, 둘 다 맞습니다. Music makes people... 아닌가? 아니다. 이거 너무 헷갈린다. 미안해요. This is the part that confuses me as well. But actually, no. 신나도록 해요 is not grammatically correct. 신나도록 해요. 안 돼요. 왜냐면 음악 making people excited, music making people excited is not an intended action, right? And we learned that 도록 해요 can only be used with verb and also when the causer intended for that to happen, right? 그렇기 때문에 신나도록 안 돼요. 신나게 해요. 게 해요가 맞아요. 그리고 이제 it's about particle. The next two quizzes are about particles. So 여러분의 댓글이 you guys' 댓글 means comment. You guys' comment. So you are marking the 그지, 저, I with what? That's what it's asking. That's what this question is asking. So 여러분의 댓글이 your comment 감동시키다 means 감동시키다 is 감동하다's causative form, right? 그렇기 때문에 it means to make somebody moved. So it means to move somebody's heart. So your comments moved me. 그러면은 which particle would you put? 저한테 안 돼요. 저한테 안 됩니다. 저한테 안 되는 이유가 여기 the reason why 한테 cannot be used is because of the subtle nuance that 한테 has. The subtle nuance that 한테 has. If you 한테 can be used to mark the causee only if the causer intended for that to happen. 근데 여기서는 you guys' comment making me moved isn't an intended thing because your comments cannot have an intention. Of course, the comment itself is written by people, and people might have had the intention of making me feel moved. However, the end product, 댓글 itself, is an inanimate object that cannot have, intention anyways. So 여기서는 저한테 안 돼요. So that's why 저한테 is awkward, sounds awkward here. And if you're confused about this, you can check the previous class, the previous live class, causative verb number 2 class. 그거를 확인하시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 조금 헷갈리죠? 조금 헷갈려요. 네, we're getting into like details. 너무너무 minute detail까지 들어가는 것 같긴 한데 eventually it will be helpful. Eventually it'll clear the confusion that you will encounter anyways afterwards. 그렇기 때문에 미리미리 배워두는 게 도움이 될 것 같다고 생각해요.
아무튼 여러분이 저를 받게 되지 않아요. 여기는 저를 받게 안 돼요. 저를 받게 안 돼요. 제가는 안 돼요. Do you guys know why 가 is not acceptable here? 가도 안 돼요. 왜냐면 you can mark the causey with 이 가 only with 게 하다 form. 게 하다 form of causative verb. But 감동시키다 is not 게 하다 form. It's 시키다 form, right? 그렇기 때문에 you cannot mark causey with 가. Here. 그래서 여러분의 댓글이 저를 감동시켰어요. This is the only right choice. 네. 좋습니다. 그러면은 마지막 볼게요. The last fill in the blank quiz. 제 진심이 담긴 편지는 친구 blank 울게 했어요. So 제 진심이 담긴 편지 is the causer that made cry 친구, my friend. So 친구 is the causey. So what are you going to mark the causey with is basically what this quiz is about. And 편지 is a letter, guys. A letter that you write to your loved ones. And 진심 means sincerity. And 담기다 means to be included, to be put. So it means the letter that has my sincerity on it. So basically, my sincere letter, the letter that I wrote with sincerity. The letter that contains my sincerity. 친구, let's look at your comments. Keith님이 친구를 좋아요. Yes, 맞아요. 친구를 울게 했어요. 맞습니다. 한태가 안 되는 이유는 the reason why 한태 doesn't work here is the same reason why 한태 doesn't work here in this previous sentence. It's because 편지 doesn't have the causer, 편지, the letter, doesn't have the intention of making my friend cry, right? Because 편지 is an inanimate object. 그렇기 때문에 친구 한테는 좀 grammatically awkward합니다. 좋아요. 그러면은 okay, now that we're almost about to wrap up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences left. So we're going to actually translate the whole sentence. So which would be the most challenging part of this quiz and also the most fun part. 그러면 해봅시다. You make me want to become a better person. You make me want to become a better person. Oh, you. So let's write it in 반말, guys. 반말로 씁시다. 반말. The informal form. So let's put you as 너 and me as 나. 그리고 to want to become is 되고 싶다, right? 되고 싶다. And become someone, become something, become someone, you have to mark that something or someone with the subject marker 이가, right? Because it's always 이가 되다. Become something, it's not 을을 되다. 되다 verb does not follow 을을, right? 그렇기 때문에 by using something 이가 되고 싶다, how would you say, you make me want to become a better person? Oh, and as for better person, you can use the adjective 낫다. 낫다 means to be better. And when it becomes a modifier form, it's an irregular verb. So it's an irregular adjective. So it becomes 나은. So you can say 더 나은 사람. More better person. So basically better person. 더 나은 사람. 더 나은 사람. 그러면 how would you make this sentence? You make me want to become a better person. I will give you guys some time. I really, really hope that you could participate in translating. It will help with your improving your writing skills as well, I believe. 네. 그리고 다른 것도 좀 쓰고 있을게요. Let me work on other sentences while I wait for your answers, guys.
여러분 쓰고 있나요? 쓰고 있어요. 일단은 같이 해볼게요. 일단은 너는 you are the subject. 너는 나를 or 나 or 내가 right? 너는 나를 or 내가 더 나은 사람이 되다. 22님. 오, 좋아요. 네가 나를 so you can so 너 and 나 is 반말. They're both 반말. So you have to end your sentence in 반말 too. Otherwise, it's going to be an awkward sentence. But overall, it's a perfect sentence. 네가 나를 더 나은 사람이 되고 싶게 해. 그쵸? 너는도 괜찮아요. 너는 나를 더 나은 사람이 되고 싶게 해. Yes, perfect. 잘하셨어요, 22님. 너는 나를 or 내가도 괜찮아요. Because you're ending it with 게 하다 sentence, right? So 게 하다 causative verb. So 너는 나를 or 내가 더 나은 사람이 되다. You want to become 되고 싶다. You make me want to. So 쉽게 해. 되고 싶게 해. 이렇게 쓰시면 됩니다. 근데 나한테는 조금 어색할 수 있어요. 나한테 could be a little awkward because it's not like you were intending me to become a better person. It's just that your existence itself inspired me to make me want to become a better person. So 나한테는 it could kill that vibe a little bit, if you know what I mean. 그리고 I'm lost with 반말. 사실 반말이 더 쉬워요. If you think about it, 반말 form is a lot simpler because you don't have to put the sentence ending you, and you can only remember 너, you, 나, I. But when it comes to 존댓말, there is no fixed word for you in Korean, right? You, how you say you depends on what the other person is. Is he your friend? Is your parent? Is he someone that you met for the first time? Is he your teacher? So, 네, 반말이 훨씬 더 쉽긴 한데요. 존댓말은 let's say you're talking to a person named Jisoo, then you can say, in 존댓말 you can say 지수 씨는 or 지수님은, 지수 씨 or 지수님은 제가. Now you can change it to the 존댓말 form of I, which is 저, or 지수님은 저를 더 나은 사람이 되고 싶게 해요. 그렇게 쓸 수 있어요. 그리고 if you're talking to a teacher, you can say 선생님은 제가 더 나은 사람이 되고 싶게 해요. If you are talking to your mother, you can say 어머니는 or 엄마는. So that would be the 존댓말 form. 네, 일단 이건 지울게요. Because we have to work on the next one. Praise as in compliment makes even whales dance. 이게요, 사실 it's a very common proverb in Korean. It's a common Korean proverb. It's a translation of a common Korean proverb that is used to emphasize the effect of compliments. 그래서 그러면 여러분, praise makes even whales dance. 어떻게 할까요? 일단 for even, you can use the particle 도. So praise as in compliment, you can use 칭찬, and for dance, you can use 춤을 추다 or just 춤추다. Praise makes even whales dance. I will give you guys some time. 여러분이 이렇게 문장을 만들어 주시고 또 질문을 해주시니까 수업이 더 재미있어지는 것 같아요. So what I just said is because you guys are making sentences, and you guys are also asking relevant questions that makes the class more interesting. So I was thanking you guys for that. Anyways, 이서님, 칭찬은 고래도 춤추게 한다. Yes, exactly it. You made it perfect with that written ending as well. 그렇죠. Because Proverbs mostly end in written ending, right? So, 좋아요. 칭찬 is the causer. 칭찬은 고래, 도 can be used alone. When you're marking the object with 도, object of the sentence with 도, you can remove the object marker, right? So object marker isn't needed here. 칭찬은 고래도 make dance. 춤추게 하다, 춤추다, and then you make. 춤추게 한다. 아니면은 you can also say 만들다도 괜찮아요. 칭찬은 고래도 춤추게 만든다. Make wheels dance. 오, 좋아요. 그리고 Kiara-님, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to leave such an encouraging message. I'm so happy that it's been helpful. 네, 감사합니다. 어이구 뭐야? Uh-oh, I accidentally turned off the iPad. Sorry about that. 아이고 뭐야? There you go. 그 다음에 the next one, the bird's cry made me sad. So this is one of the easy sentences here because it's a combination of adjective plus make. Adjective plus 게 하다. You can use 게 만들다 as well. 그리고 여기 cry는요. What cry means here is crying sound, right? Crying sound. So you can say 울음소리. 울음 is the nominalization of 울다, to cry. So it's a noun that means crying. And 소리 means sound. So crying sound. 그리고 bird는 새입니다. 새. 그리고 the causey, as you can see, is me. causey는 me네요. me, I. 그러면 여러분, the bird's cry made me sad. The bird's cry. You can use the possessive particle 의. 아니면 you can use it without it. If you say 새 울음소리, that delivers the same thing as well. So 새, 그렇죠. 근데요. 이서님, 제 울음소리는 저를 슬프게 했다 맞는데 when you're ending your sentence with written ending, usually we change I to 나라고 해요. not 저. 왜냐면 written ending is technically 반말. It's technically 반말 because you're not really speaking directly to someone. 그렇기 때문에 나를 슬프게 했다가 맞아요. 새 울음소리는 나를 슬프게 했다. It sounds more natural to change it to 나. 그러네요. 원래 알고 있었구나. 오케이. 실수할 수 있어요. 맞아요. 실수할 수 있어요. 나를 슬프게 했어요. or 만들었어요. 나를 슬프게 했다. 그리고 if you want to write it in 존댓말, you can say 저를 슬프게 했습니다. or 했어요. 저를 슬프게 했습니다가 맞습니다. 좋아요. 그런 다음에 이제 그 다음 거 가볼게요. I let my daughter eat snacks. Snacks, you can use 과자. 그리고 I am the causer. My daughter, 제 딸 is the causee. And here, you let, as in you gave her permission. So which variation will you use? Should you use? I will give you guys some time to complete the translation of this one. I let my daughter eat snacks. Eat snacks. Have snacks. Roger님, welcome. 안녕하세요. Please join us in making sentences if you already know this grammar.
that we're covering today, that we covered today. 일단은 같이 해볼까요? 그러면 저는 태님이 나는 내 딸에게 간식을 먹게 했다. 오케이. 이것도 맞는 문장인데요. 맞는 문장인데 could you add a bit more of permitting nuance? You permitted. You gave her permission. 그렇게 하면 which variation would do that? 일단은 your sentence itself is perfect though. But if you would like to add more of the nuance of permission, 일단은 you could say 제 딸에게 과자를 you can use 먹게 해줬어요. It delivers that more of you allowing them. You allowing your daughter. You permitted your daughter. So she wasn't supposed to have it. Maybe because, I don't know, she has some health issues. But then for today, I made an exception and let my daughter eat snacks. 먹게 해줬어요. You can use 게 해주다 when you're permitting someone to do something. When the causative permits someone to do something. 오케이, 좋습니다. 그 다음에 이거 해볼게요. Thank you for helping me understand this grammar. 이튼님이 here's another variation. 대자한테 간식을 먹어도 되는 허락을 줬어요. Okay. This delivers it. This does it. 근데 it sounds slightly elongated, unnecessarily elongated, but it's still a grammatically perfect sentence. So nice try, 이튼님. Variations are always welcomed. 좋습니다. 그 다음에 Thank you for helping me understand this grammar. Thank you for helping me understand this grammar. 이때는요. 게 도와주다. I recommend you guys using 게 도와주다 more than 게 해주다. So both of them are about giving helpful effect to the causee, right? However, if you say 게 해주다, like I mentioned earlier, this sounds like the causer is the dominant reason, the only reason almost why I understand this grammar. But that's actually not true, right? When you're learning something, you yourself also takes part in learning this, in understanding this. So in this case, I think using 게 도와주다 sounds more natural. 그래서 let's try using 게 도와주다. So understand this grammar. 오, 시인님, 이 문법을, right? 이 문법을, the object marker, 이 문법을, you mark the causee, the 문법, sorry, not the causee. The causee is me. Grammar is just an object of understand, the verb understand. So 이 문법을 이해하게 도와주셔서, 그렇죠. 이해하게 도와주셔서 감사합니다. 좋아요. 오, 텐님, another variation. 이 문법을 이해하는 데에 도움을 주셔서 감사합니다. Yes, this is also great. This is also perfect and natural too. 좋습니다. 그 다음, 잠깐만, I did that again. iPad, there you go. 다음에 it's our last one. It's a little bit difficult. But there could be many variations. So you could give me anything you find fit. So during the Japanese occupation, we say 일제, this is kind of a historical term, but 일제 강점기라고 해요. 그러니까 if you break it down, this is a word from 한자. So 일본, 일은 일본이에요. 그리고 제국은 제는 제국이에요. The Japanese Empire, 강제, forcefully, 점령, occupying, 기, period. 그래서 it refers to the period of time back in history where the Japanese Empire made the colony out of Korea, out of Joseon to be more precise. 그래서 일제강점기인데요. If you're interested in history, you will come across this term many times. So let's use 일제강점기. So during 일제강점기, 일제강점기 때라고 하면 좋아요. 일제강점기 때. 일제강점기 때 Japan didn't let Koreans use Korean alphabet. 일단은 let me write my version. I will write my version first. So 일제강점기 때 일본은 한국 사람들이 I will translate this literal translation. They made Koreans not be able to use Korean alphabet, which is 한글, right? 한글. 일제강점기 때 일본은 한국 사람들이 한글을 not be able to use it. 한글을 못 쓰다. You can say 못 쓰다 or 한글을 쓰지 못하다. 쓰지 못하다 or 한글을 쓸 수 없다도 괜찮아요. 쓸 수 없다. 그리고 일본은 한국 그렇죠. 이것도 맞아요. 일제강점기 때 you should be adding 때 during 일본은 한국인에게 그쵸. 에게도 맞아요. Because it was their intention, right? It was their intention as well. 그리고 을도 맞고요. 이도 맞고. 그래서 한국 사람들이 한글을 쓰지 못하게 했습니다. 쓰지 못하게 잠깐 double negation. sorry. 못 쓰게 했다. or 쓰지 못하게 했다. or 한글을 쓸 수 없게 했다. or you could also say 만들었다. Because this has a nuance of forcing them not to use. So you can also use 게 만들다. 그리고 C2님 says 일제강점기 때 일본은 한국 사람들이 한글을 쓰게 하지 못했습니다. 잠깐만요. 이트님's answer 일제강점기 때 일본 한국 사람들이 한글을 못 쓰겠다. 오케이. 이거 맞고. 그리고 C님 문장을 보시면요. C님 문장 한번 볼게요. 여기서 일제강점기 때 일본은 한국 사람들이 한글을 쓰게 하지 못했습니다라는 뜻은요. 이 문장은 어떻게 해석이 되냐면 this translates to 일본 잠깐만요. Japan이 지 못했다. They weren't able to make Koreans use Hangul. So this specific sentence translates to that, which is slightly different from the ones that we did in the previous part, right? It wasn't that Japan wasn't able to, but it's just that they made it. They had the choice. They did the choice, and they followed their choice of making Korean people not be able to use Hangul. 그래서 요거는 조금 말하고자 하는 게 다릅니다. How we could correct it would be 일본은 한국 사람들이 한글을 쓰게 하지 않았습니다는 되겠어요. 않았습니다. 쓰게 하지 않았습니다. 왜냐하면 못했다 means you weren't able to do it, but 않았습니다 is like you had the choice not to do it. You didn't do it because it's out of your own will. It was your choice. 그래서 그렇게 쓸 수 있고요. 그리고 C님, thank you for being so receptive of the feedback. It's so hard to find opportunity to have my sentences correct. Okay. 좋습니다. 좋아요. I appreciate your attempt. Very good sentence though. It was almost correct. We just had to correct last bit. Okay. 그러면 that's all I have for today's class. 네, I'm so glad that there was no issue with the connection though. Although I'm getting a message that I need to adjust something here. I'm not really tech savvy, so I'm not sure what it's trying to tell me, but 네, I definitely have to do a bit of connection check sometime later, sometime soon, probably sometime over the weekend, where I could have a random live stream. Maybe we could do Q&A, maybe we could share some tips. You know, I'll think of something good we could do during the testing session. And thank you so much for your participation, guys. 네. I really, really appreciate it because 네. Because it would be so hard for me to proceed the class if I'm doing it alone without anyone's participation. So I really, really appreciate that. And Ethan님 asks, how often do you stream and when? I love to tune in more. Ethan님, are you new to my channel? You sound like you're new to my channel. But for now, I don't have a schedule on when to stream, specifically when I will stream. But I feel like that would be necessary in the near future just to be more organized with classes and just to build more trust with you guys. So I will think about, I will definitely think more about coming up with the schedule. And yes, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. 그쵸? Yes, it is your first time, right? It seemed like it. And thank you so much for the class. Thank you so much for tuning in, friends님. Yes, it would be cool. I will do that. I try, but I can't form good sentences yet in Korean. 괜찮아요. It takes time. It takes practice. Nobody could do it, automatically. Like nobody's a prodigy. Not everyone's a prodigy, right? They're very rare. So I think it's very natural. If you're a beginner, you find making sentences difficult. Of course, it's a natural part of learning. And what will you be doing after this? It's a good question because it's holiday. It's National Foundation Day in Korea. I don't know, maybe play with my cat. I'm thinking of walking with my cat. 네, and then... actually, yes, I have to do something which I cannot really share here. Yes, but I actually have something coming up after this. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about that. Thank you. Anyways, guys, thank you for being so sweet, for being so enthusiastic about learning Korean, so hardworking, and video games. I actually don't play video games just because I am not, it's not because I don't like video games. It's because I don't know good games. I don't know which games are on trend these days. That's the only reason why I don't play video games. But video game is a nice option. But anyways, guys, have a nice day. I will definitely be catching up on the book that I haven't finished, Roger님. Thank you for the recommendation. And thank you, guys. And I will end the class here. I hope to see you guys in the next one. And 이제 finish 버튼 누를게요. I'll click on finish. And bye bye, 여러분. 안녕.